So we talked a little bit about the first element of transforming a congregation leading change from John Cotter, and that was about creating a sense of urgency. Now I want to address the second two items, and the first one starts with building a guiding coalition. This understanding that we can't do it alone. And what we so often see in churches is that, in essence, the pastor becomes the culture creator. The visionary are as well they're articulate and energized and do great work. But what happens so often is then they accept a call to another church. And all of a sudden, the passion, the energy, the focus, the articulation of the key message goes out the door. And we know that, excuse me, if transformation is going to be an ongoing process and it's going to be sustained, you can't do it alone. You can't have just one or two people. You need to build a guiding coalition. And so this should include paid and unpaid staff. This should include your elected leaders. This should include your ministry team leaders, perhaps your choir. But I want you to think about what are all those kind of circles of influence, those leadership teams. How do we get them on board, help them embrace this preferred future, help them understand how it will unfold and how they can contribute to that, and also be advocates for where we're going and why it matters. So we need this guiding coalition. And you don't have to reach everyone at the same time. You might spend 3 to 6 months just working with paid staff and elected leaders, and then think about what am I going to do the next 6 months and go deeper. But there should be this intentionality of continuing to broaden that guiding coalition. And many churches often do that for 6 months to a year to build the leadership depth and knowledge and understanding of where we're going before they really actively roll it out into the church. So they're building that foundation that's going to sustain it. And then the other key element, number 3 in John Cotter's list of 8 key characteristics, is to inspire a compelling vision where leaders consistently and clearly communicate that compelling vision of God's preferred future for their congregation. And we just know that this, again, has to be short. It has to be understandable for people. And again, we need to tell people where we're going, a little bit about why it matters, and what some of the next steps are. But you should be able to say all that in less than 5 seconds, at least, and keep it tight and focused and understandable at basically about a 5th or 6th grade language understanding ability. So, which means we don't need to use lofty words. We need to use words that people understand, embrace, that are action-oriented to help move people forward. So, and it has to be, keep in mind, it has to be compelling enough that people would actually be willing to invest their time, their money, and their energy to achieve it. So we should always be thinking about that on the other end. If I was new to this member and I was hearing this message, would I want to be part of this? Would I invest in it? Would I be an advocate for it? So often we give people too little information and too much of the wrong information. How do we keep it tight, focused, and compelling? But this is a vision that needs to be embraced by your leaders, and leaders need to be trained on how they can articulate that message to their spheres of influence.